Wrong side. I can feel it soon as I hit the floor. Wish I was a bird with wings high into the blue sky. I'd fly, and I would feel trouble no more. If by some design don't get left behind, then I've left nothing to defend. I would fly with you, chasing down the wind. And I would learn to live again. Could be gone, goodbye. Everything that's good seems to fade away so fast. Don't wait, can't be late. You might miss that expiration date. 'Cause it seems like nothing is built to last. By some design, we get a little more time, and we can see clear through the end. I fly away with you, chasing down the wind, and I would learn to live again. Learn to live again.
Gabby's not here, is she? Do I see her? I would see her. Ah, see, y'all know Gabby. I would see Gabby. She put a pink card in there. I mean, you need to know, if you don't know Gabby, she put a pink card in there. So this is our jar card, which is a place where you can share your favorite quotes. I invite you to do that here. Gabby's quote is this: "Life is art. Live it in color." Life is art. Yeah. I think the beginning of this "Life is art," there's a whole quote that goes with that. I think it's Helena Bonham Carter, I think is who started, that quote starts that way. So this week, I got this book in the mail from my mom. My mom, well, she loves me, which is great. But she said she's a practicing Catholic, she and my sister, and so every year during the Lenten season they get these little books that they can read during the Lenten season. So she sends them to me all the time, and on one side is a little, sometimes information, and the other side is a scripture reading usually. And she sends this note to me in her cursive handwriting, which I love. She says, "Dear Paula, sorry I'm late with mailing this book, but I know that you can find some good information to use in your messages." She even calls them messages. She's a Catholic. She doesn't call them sermon. She knows that's what I call them. The Lord is watching over you, and you are in my prayers. I love you, Mom. Right? And I thought of this and I thought, yeah, and it's Women's History Month.
Yeah.
And my mother is part of my history, of course. She's the reason I'm here. She's the reason I'm here. And she also sent me a birthday card. And it's a really special card. It's a really cool card. And it has a great note in here. She has my sense of humor, or should I say I have her sense of humor, because she starts writing on one side and then she continues on the other side, and in quote she says, "Change in pens." Her pen ran out, change in pens. She's so funny. She's so funny. And the word on the front of this card is achieve. And in the card she writes, "The word achieve is complementary to your lifestyle." Aww. This card is something that caught my eye, and it is very unique, just like you. Aww. So my mother is a big fan of mine, and she loves me, and so I appreciate her sending these books. I don't always find something in here to talk about, but I thought, well, I'm just going to open up to March 16th, because that's today, and it's my birthday. So happy birthday! Thank you. And the little thing over here is about the difference between attending an event and participating in an event. Right? And in this context, it's about going to Mass, and it's how some people just sit there and stare ahead and they don't really participate. And then there's a difference between those who participate, who engage in the service. So that's what the information is about there. And so I started thinking about that, how when we engage in something, we actually make a commitment to something. We actually, when we engage and when we participate, we are showing up and belonging to something maybe bigger than we are. Whereas attending is simply showing up. Maybe we're just not sure. Maybe we don't want to get too involved. Maybe we just want to stay in the periphery because we're not sure about something. And neither one of them is right or wrong, by the way. It's not wrong to just show up and kind of gauge what's happening. And it's not wrong to engage and participate in there. But what I'm asking us to do is notice the difference. The example I came up with in my life is like our HOA. Like, I am not engaged with the HOA. We pay our dues at our HOA, and that's about as far as I want to go. I'm not interested in engaging in it. Like, it's not what I want to do. That's just the way it is. Versus, I was thinking about how many people engage here at Spiritual Soul Center. There are plenty of volunteers who show here. We're setting up chairs and making coffee and greeting people. There are plenty of people who signed up for Beverly's care team, who have gone over and already helped her clean her house and took over meals and doing all these things, engaged, making a commitment. All right? And there's just a difference between the two. And so I'm just asking us to recognize that in our life. Because what I realize too is the places where we're not engaged and we don't belong, and those when we just want to kind of show up and see what's happening, or maybe even not show up, is that sometimes we carry a lot of judgment about the people who are doing the work. Have you noticed that? The HOA. Do I need to say any more? Many of you know about that. I think if I'm not willing to show up and engage in that, why should I sit in judgment of the people who do want to do the work? I'm saying, it seems we would get this. Like we would get this already. To not do that. To allow those who are doing the work to do the work. Without our judgment, because we're not engaged. That's not ours to do, and it's okay. But the judgment piece is the piece that I think where we get off kilter with it. Like, why can't we just leave everything as it is and rest our weary mind about that stuff? You see what I'm saying? And that's why I want us to notice the difference between, am I participating or am I just in attendance? In attendance kind of thing. I think that what happens in that judgment too, and where I went with this, is that judgment gets tension in me. And when there is tension in me and there is judgment in me, there can be no peace in me. Because those two things do not exist together at the same time. I mean, think about it in yourself. And if I am carrying judgment and I am carrying tension about things, there is no peace in me. None. That isn't the way it works. Because we want peace, don't we? We say we want peace. We say we want peace. Would anybody say they don't want peace? We want peace. And yet we hold tension. Yet we hold tension. Well, there is no room for that. There is no room for that. I remember the chants from the Black Lives Matter movement. No justice, no peace. True. Absolutely 100%, 1,000% true. You cannot have peace in yourself when there is discord like that in the world. It's not possible. But maybe, just maybe, and paradoxically, it works the other way around. That first and foremost, peace has to come in me. It has to be in me first. If we are waiting out here for justice, it hasn't worked yet. Every piece of paper and law that might have been in force in the last administration, for instance, is getting torn up and changed. You know why? Because we didn't change the inside. Now we're changing the outside again. And then a new administration will come in and they'll change it to something else. Right? Unless we make change here. And so it reminded me of Peace Pilgrim. Do any of you know Peace Pilgrim? You know who she is? Let me read you a little about who she is. Because if you want to know anything about peace, she's the one. She says this: in my early life, I made two very important discoveries. In the first place, I discovered that making money was easy. And in the second place, I discovered that making money and spending it was spending it foolishly was completely meaningless. I knew this was not what I was here for. So that's her base. She says, the second phase of my life, I began to live to give what I could instead of to get what I could. And I entered a new and wonderful world. Where did the change happen? Inside. For me, it took 15 years of preparation, of inner sinking, to lay the groundwork for my outer work. Here's another thing I think we misunderstand. Is just because I decide that everything should be easy, and it should happen like today. 15 years is what she's saying, to lay the groundwork for what she was really here to do. And she felt guided or called or motivated to begin her pilgrimage for peace in the world after 15 years of preparation. She's walked 25,000 miles as a penniless pilgrim, only wearing what she had and only carrying in her pockets what she could in her small pockets, from 1953 to 1981. With her, she always carried the message of peace. And this is it. This is the way of peace. Overcome evil with good, falsehood with truth, and hatred with love. There is nothing new about this message except the practice of it. Right? You're like, well, we heard this all before. Yes, but do we practice it? The practice of it is where it comes about. And the focus on the inside. The focus on the inside. If we keep waiting for things to be different out here, but we refuse to do the inner work, it's, what'd she say, it's senseless. It doesn't even make any sense. It doesn't make any sense to do it that way. Here's where I want to jump off from here. She says this: I believe that the situation in the world is a reflection of our own immaturity. The situation in the world is a reflection of our own immaturity. The more peace we have within our lives, the more we can reflect into the outer situation. So primarily, my subject is peace within ourselves as a step toward peace in the world. It seems paradoxical, in a way. And it's the truth. And I think she's right. It's the fact that we haven't spent enough intention and attention and commitment to practice it in our own life, in my life, in your life. To lean inward toward that. To lean inward toward that. I got a little graph for you. Because I started off with this judgment thing. No, judgment is how we get to peace. So here's how I think it works graphically. Is that in order to get from judgment to peace, we have to look in our heart. Like, this is where it starts. It doesn't start outside of us. It's about care and ease and respect and compassion and equality, acceptance. These are the steps to peace. But they don't happen outside of ourselves. They happen in us. They happen in us. This is how it works. This is how it works. This is how it starts to work. This is how it begins to work. Because if I don't have this in me, how can I really expect it to be in the world? And that, once everything out here is all fixed, well, then I'll feel that way. You know innately that that's not the way it works. You know innately that that's not the way that works. But we resist this. We resist this because we think there's a shortcut. We just want to go like squeeze around the end and get up there and bypass all this stuff. Bypass all. We want to keep holding judgment, and then we want to bypass and squeeze on the edges around and get to peace. And it just doesn't work. It doesn't work that way. There's no change. There's no change in the world without a change in me to begin with. This is not news, like she said. This is not news. Great teachers in all religions and all faith traditions, I think, teach this. Maybe we don't teach it often enough. Maybe we don't practice it even less. So she has come up with 4 preparations for peace. The preparations that we make in order to experience peace, first in us and then in the world. First in us and then in the world. That's the way it works. The first one is this. She says, no problem ever comes to you that does not have a purpose in your life. That is hard to accept. She says, those are what contribute to your growth.
Lessons.
To your growth. And she says this, leaning into life as it is, in accordance with the light that we have, is how we evolve. It's how we grow. And if we take that, and that's how you begin, in her idea, to prepare for peace, is to accept that that's the truth. Now that's not to say to make everything okay, I'm not worried about that, or it's not a big deal. It's a big deal. I've told you before, experience what it is. But to realize, even in that hurt and even in that devastation sometimes, that this is what is here for me to grow. I can choose that place because that is how I prepare for peace in me. And depend on that light. I mean, do you know you have that light in you? Like, you have that light in you. You have that. That's the other message I got in here. It's like, we have this light in us. We don't depend on it. We want somebody else to fix it out here. I was just talking to Tim beforehand and complaining about the Democrats and not sending enough people out and getting our message out. What? Peace in me. How about changing my heart? That's where it starts. Not in Kamala Harris or somebody else. In me. In me. In me. In me. There's a light in me. There's a light in you. And Peace Pilgrim is saying that's the way to prepare for peace, to depend on that light. To depend on that light. And to realize that any problem that exists, whether it's in my life or in the collective, is here for me to learn how to be with it and learn how to grow from it. You can see how that might be more peaceful in yourself, right? Instead of the tension and the resistance. I'm not about the resistance movement, by the way. There's a lot of people preaching resistance right now. You know what resistance is about? Fear. You know what resistance is about? Fight. I don't want to fight. I want to come from this place that my light is so damn bright that their eyes they have to shield their eyes from it. And I want you to do the same thing. They have to shield their eyes. Because we refuse. I don't want to resist. I want to shine. I want you to shine. That's what she's talking about. That's what she's talking about. On my best days, it works, you know. Which is why it's preparation for peace. Number 2, she says this is a great little project that she invites us to engage in. With this second preparation has to do with bringing our lives into harmony with what's happening in the world, with the laws of the world. She says that I got busy on a very interesting project. This was to live all good things I believed in. To live the things I believe in. I didn't confuse myself by trying to take them all in at once, but rather if I was doing something that I knew I should not be doing, I stopped doing it. There's a big clue for you. If you know you shouldn't be doing it, stop doing it. And she said, and if I was not doing something that I knew I should be doing, what should I do? Get busy doing it. Like, get busy doing it. And she says it took a while for the living to catch up with the believing. It took a while for me to actually live what I believe. Do you believe in equality? Well, only for the underprivileged? Not for the ones in office and in power? What does that say about me? Do I believe in equality? Do I believe in justice for all? Do I believe in second chances? But just for those who are struggling? Or is it everybody? Like, what do I believe in? How do I align myself with my beliefs? To start doing the things that I know I want to do and to stop doing the things that don't align with that. This is really what I call values. I'm also a life coach, and when I meet with my clients for the first time, I said, I want to know what you value. What are the things you value in your life? Because if you live according to your values, you will be happy and you will be at peace. But if you make decisions that tramp on your values, you won't be happy. You won't be at peace. You'll be torn. So what do you value? What is that? Is it respect? Do you value respect? Do you respect everyone, even those you disagree with? Is there respect, or is there disdain? Or is there judgment? This is a tough one here. It takes a lot of practice to get out of that one. So stop living what you say you don't believe in, and start living what you say you do believe in your heart, in your actions, in your words. Start there. These are not easy practices. There's a reason we don't have a mega church at Spiritual Soul Center. I'm not giving you all the rules. I'm saying these are practices that can help you. You got to decide, and they're not easy practices. They're not easy. They take consistency and attention and self-reflection. They're not easy. Here's number 3. Number 3 is do the good things you feel motivated toward. Do the good things that you are here to do. Not compared to anybody else. Do the things that are yours to do for you. And do that thing as part of she calls the life pattern of the universe. Like, you are an essential part of the life pattern of the universe. Do that thing. Do you. You've heard me say that before. Let me read you the story that she walked all these miles, and so people would pull over in a car and say, hey, and she would talk to them. And one day she was talking in this very nice car stop, and a man started talking to her saying, how wonderful that you are following your calling. And I replied, I certainly think that everyone should be doing what feels right to do. He then began to tell me what he felt motivated toward, and it was a good thing and it needed doing, and I got quite enthusiastic about it and took it for granted that he was doing it. And I said, that's so wonderful. How's it going? And he answered, oh, I'm not doing it. That kind of work doesn't pay anything. Oh, she could feel it in his heart. She could feel it in his enthusiasm. She was enthusiastic back. You're not doing it? Maybe you should. Maybe. What is it? What is it for you to do, the good that you do for the life pattern of the world? That's what she's saying. That's how we prepare for peace. How many people work in a job that they resent? That they don't like? I'm only doing it for the money. Let me just check this box. And in 12 years, I'll be able to retire, and I'll have oh my God, 12 years? I worked at New Hanover County Schools for a while, and I worked, my office was in the maintenance department. And somebody in maintenance actually told me that. He said, I only have 12 more years left. I'm like, oh my gosh. How can you have peace in you? How can you have peace in your heart and show up for work for that? I don't see how that can be. I think that's what she's saying here. You can't. The way you prepare for peace is to do your part in the life pattern of the world, whatever that is. And my God, if I was to tell you my life story, it's a tapestry. There's plenty of things. Some people know exactly what it is from day one. Some people, like me, never figure it out, for sure. It's different. You have to know it. You have to claim it. You have to move toward it by doing you. And here's number 4. Here's number 4. And it's called the simplifying life. Aren't you just tired of hearing and saying to people how busy you are? I'm tired of it. Everybody's busy. Everybody's too busy. Simplify your life. Only you can do it. No one can make you do it. No one can, say, well, here's what you do to simplify your life. Simplify your life, she's saying. She said, I brought my life down to a need level. And I thought it would entail a lot of hardships, but I was wrong. She said, anything beyond need tends to become burdensome. What do I really need? What do I really need? That's the question. What is it that I need? She said, there is great freedom in the simplicity of living. And after I started doing this, I found this harmony that I couldn't find anywhere else. We can start here by asking ourselves and responding to ourselves of what's important. If you're too busy, stop it. Be as busy as you want to be and no busier. Adding on and we were adding on and adding on and adding on and adding. Oh, this looks good. I think I'll do this too, and I'll do this too. And then we're so busy, we can't. We don't have this at all. We don't have any peace in our life. There are things left undone. There are things that we do halfway. Stop. Stop being busy. Stop. Here's the other thing. In the outer, a way to begin to practice that, get rid of the stuff that you don't need that's in your house. Pick one closet. Practice. Practice. Do I need this? Some people, Anna would say, does this bring me joy to have this? Well, keep it then. Renee and I have been doing that spring cleaning. We have one major closet left. But we went through everything in our kitchen, every drawer, every cabinet, every closet. Yes, we kept probably more than we needed. But we released some things as well. We took the step. There is so much we don't need. If we shared everything that we already had, we could crash the economy ourselves. We don't need all that stuff. How many dollar stores do we need? We do that. You and I do that. If another one's going up, you can put a check in your own box that you helped make that happen. Because we did. Right? We're saying, yeah, bring some more stuff from China. Bring some more stuff in. Now, simplify your life. Olivia's laughing because she knows that's one of my things. One time she was trying to find clothes for me that were not made in China. She couldn't do it. She was like, I'm trying to find it. Oh, here, it's made in Thailand. It's not China. Anyway, Sorry. Simplify your life. Simplify it. The inner and the outer. She says unnecessary possessions are just unnecessary burdens. What is holding you down? What is weighing you down? What is that? Simplify your life. That's a way to prepare for peace. Prepare for peace in you. Prepare for peace. All right? So that's the message today. Really, it's from my mother and what she sent me about the difference between showing up and in attendance and engaging in life. Recognizing the difference and to be not so quick to judge the people who are actually doing the work. I mean, that alone could have been the message today, right? Because we can see ourselves in there, is what I'm assuming. I can see myself in there. Like I said, HOA. But engage and decide to engage where yours to engage in that life pattern that Peace Pilgrim talks about. And so there's the way to peace is through the heart, out of judgment to peace through the heart, through these practices, and the 4 ways to prepare for peace, right? Which are, I'm going to remind myself, no problem ever comes that doesn't have a purpose in your life, if you choose to make it that. That the wisdom is to live all good things that you believe in and stop living the things you don't believe in. Do the good things you feel motivated toward, that you are built for, that the light in you is telling you to go toward. Do that, to claim that, and to simplify your inner and outer life and create that harmony that gets you to peace. All right? So let's take that into meditation this morning for a few minutes. I invite you to take a deep breath in, maybe close your eyes, drop your shoulders, give it a little shake. Because here's the affirmation, really. Light in me, light in the world. Peace in me, peace in the world. It's really that simple. It takes practice and preparation, but the mantra is light in me, light in the world. Peace in me, peace in the world. Let's sit for a few moments together. It is with great gratitude and humility that we can bring ourselves to ourselves, to realize that anything we seek, any good thing we seek, is already the light that is in us. Any good thing that we desire for ourselves and for the world is through the light that we already are. With great humility, with great confidence and trust, I surrender to that light, and I know that it will carry me and carry us to the next highest place in our own soul. Grateful, 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 and amen.
When your heart is weeping, ain't the time for sleeping. Only way that it gets done is to keep on moving on. Got to keep on moving on, like a darkness to the dawn. Train on down the track, let it roll right off your back. Keep on moving on. May you always have a picture of what needs to be done. May you always have a moment you can see which side you're on. Don't you hang up on tomorrow while today is still undone. I don't want you to do it, don't want you to do it. Just keep on moving on. Got to keep on moving on, like a darkness to the dawn. Like a train on down the track, it'll roll right off your back. Keep on moving on. Walking towards the light, and your day gon' get much brighter. Lift one burden at a time, and your load gon' get much lighter. If you're dizzy, rest your feet. Just take a moment in the sun. Now you got to keep on moving on. Got to keep on moving on, like a darkness to the dawn. Like a train on down the track, roll right on through the back. Keep on moving on. Or when your heart is weak, ain't the time for sleeping. Only way that it gets done is to keep on moving on.